Okay, here we go. And yeah, so this is the 5 p.m. Introductory performance seminar with me, Miss Kinga, and we will get started shortly here. And then Brenton, if you could turn your camera on, that'd be great. So 5 p.m. intro seminar. All right, everybody's here. And then we have Miss EJ here with us today. She'll just be observing the class. So let's go ahead and get started. Does anybody want to go first today? Vivek? All right.
I guess,
The rest of them.
yeah, Vivek playing Lock and Door. Yeah,
Awesome.
guess I'll get started.
Yeah. All right, very good. Nice job with that.
Thank you.
So this piece I know you've been working on for a little bit, and this is your first draft, I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, first draft. Yeah.
Awesome. And for your playing, for your performance, I wanted to ask, what was one thing that you felt like you did well?
Ooh, one thing I felt like I did well. Probably playing in rhythm. I think
Hmm.
the rhythm was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely keeping it nice and steady. So great work on that. And then something we're gonna work on more, I know we started a little bit yesterday, is
Uh,
dynamics, right?
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I mean, I felt like the dynamics were okay here, but I feel like it can improve a little more.
Yeah, and we'll keep working on it. So, but overall, yeah, great first draft here.
Thank you.
So let's take it to Arohi. So go ahead and introduce yourself and your piece.
Hi, my name's Rohi, and I'll be playing Minuet in G.
All right, very nice. Good work on that. whole thing. I think this is your first time playing everything, right? All right, good, good. So I'll kind of ask you some of the same things. So with this piece, I think this was also your first draft for the whole piece. I can't remember if you were doing it from memory or not, but what was something you feel like you did well, maybe opposed to like the first time you played it? Was there something that you feel like you improved on?
Well, I mean, I got stuck on the last line of the first page, so I got over that.
Just like getting through the mistake and
Yeah, just getting
moving
through.
on. Yeah, I thought you did a good job just getting through there. And then so something you could do in this case, I felt like maybe you were a little like hesitant to look at the paper. Like were you did you want to just do it from memory
Yeah,
mainly? Yeah. So I'd say like in this case, since you have that safety net, like that um I know that your goal was to do it by memory, but in this case, since you have the notes in front of you, I would just look up and start from there again, right? I think you got lost a little bit like in the first measure, and then I think that ultimately just gave you trouble for the rest of the line. So next time if you have the notes in front of you, I would just restart. Um, but going through it, I mean, going through your mistakes is also really important. So I just meant, just to be clear, I meant like in this sort of setting, right? When you have the paper in front of you, just take a quick look, just take a deep breath, right? Start again from that line and then see if you can recover, right? And I thought you did a really good job with the recovery. So really good on that. And then the second page, really, really nice job. All right, that's first time we're playing this. And then one thing that I was going to mention with I'm not sure if it would be a performance thing or just in general, but this piece, you could slow it down a little bit, and that may help just with like you're thinking of, oh, this is the next step, this is the next movement, or maybe the notes, right? So that might solidify it. Um, but yeah, we'll keep working on that in our classes because I know with mistakes it kind of shakes you up and then you just tend to play faster, right? Anybody would. So um but yeah, very nice. Very good work here. So let's move to Brenton. I think you might be okay, you're playing this one too. So whenever you're ready, just unmute and go ahead.
My name is Brenton, and I'm playing the first page of Minuet in G.
All right. Awesome. Good work on that first page. So again, another first draft here. So with this piece, I'm curious, what was something that you feel like was maybe a challenge to learn on this first page?
Memorizing the last line.
The last line. Yeah, this last line I think is just tricky. So, yeah, that part it looks like it has some movements. We'll definitely go over maybe part of that in the second half. And then another thing, I thought you were playing pretty smoothly, like just steadily. It was a little bit fast, but you were able to keep the speed for the most part. So I'd say same kind of thing along the same lines of Arohi, like on the second page. I would just set your tempo like maybe a little bit slower, right? Than you want to play it. And then just play at that speed because you'll end up going faster just because of the nerves, the performance and all that stuff. But yeah, good draft. All right, let's move to Adav. So let's see what you have here. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Adav, and I'm gonna play Winter Tale from memory.
Awesome. All right. Nice work on this one. I think this one was also your first draft, right? Of the whole song? I think so. So in the second part, I think you might have lost track of where you were, right?
Yeah.
But you did get the left hand on I think it was either the second or third time here. So you definitely know the notes. We'll just brush up the order and when to play that and everything. So yeah, again, great work just getting through the mistakes and keep going and everything. Always an important part of it too. So one thing I wanted to ask before we move on to movements. Let me think. Oh yeah. Just like I think I asked most of you, what do you feel like was a good, like maybe something that you improved? I know you played the first part of this in a different seminar. So between that and this one, what do you feel like you improved on?
I think I improved on like the third line on the left hand movements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely over here. I know this is pretty tricky. Um, I also thought your rhythm was much better. I know you had some trouble with that just throughout here. So counting in, 2/4 versus maybe 4/4, 3/4 that you're used to. So that was also very good. And yeah, we'll just keep working on this and polish it up a little bit more. So for the next about 10 minutes, let's go over some things in your guys' pieces here. So I usually go over movements, and because you're all my students, I think you know movements pretty well. So I'm going to try to make the second half a bit more about other concepts. So starting with Adav's piece here, and this can be applied actually to all of your pieces. Let's talk a little bit about balance. So does anyone know what I mean when I say balance? And all answers or guesses are welcome.
Keeping the piece stable, I guess. Like maybe the rhythm being like keeping the rhythm stable.
You could keep it, yeah, balanced, like stable, steady. That's definitely one. Not the answer I'm looking for, but that is also a good thing to do. Does anyone have any other ideas of what balance might mean in a piece?
I think balance means like where you like make one hand sound more what's the word for it? Like it's easier to hear one hand than the other. So it's like easier to hear the melody and then you have the harmony playing in a different.
Yeah, so the melody exactly should be heard, right? You don't want to drown that out by like your chords, or if you have just anything happening in the other hand. I think all of your pieces, yeah, all of your pieces, the melody was in the right hand, which is pretty common. So keeping the right hand slightly louder, right? And then the left hand in this case, right? In your guys' cases, slightly softer. So this can be a little bit difficult to achieve. But with practice, of course, we can do that. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing that I wanted to talk about is phrasing. So can anyone tell me either what phrasing is or what a phrase is?
It's like a group of measures.
Yeah, it's like a group of measures. Does anyone else have another idea or another way to say it? Does anyone not know what a phrase is? Because if you do know what a phrase is, you would have said it. So all of your hands should be up, except for Rohi.
Probably a group of notes.
A group of notes. Uh-huh. Yep. You guys are definitely pretty much on the right track, yeah. Adav, do you know what a phrase is?
Like some notes like together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty much. Brenton?
I was gonna say what the other said.
Okay, so pretty much everybody has the general consensus of a group of notes, measures, yeah. So I would say you could also more of like a all of those are right, by the way. I just wanted to see if anyone had like a different idea or um yeah, if you guys had a different way of saying it, right? So I would say a phrase is pretty much like a melodic line, right? We have a melody where it kind of goes from point A to point B. And a lot of the time these are showed with slurs. So like for example, here there's a slur right here, here, here. There's a couple. So I would say the phrase for Adav's piece, right, could be dun 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 dun. That could be a phrase, right? And then it's repeated right here, and then it goes to another phrase. Ba-da-da-da-dum. That could be a phrase or also connected with the rest. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. That would be kind of a longer phrase, right? So it's not like a fixed amount of measures or a fixed amount of notes. It just depends on the piece, honestly. So we're gonna kind of go over that with your guys' pieces. So yeah, that would be the phrasing for Wintertail. And the way that you could, something else that's involved with phrasing, right, is dynamics. So shaping the phrase, making making it have sort of a flow and a movement, right? So how does anyone have any ideas on how you could generally shape a phrase or like how do you normally go about your dynamics when you're phrasing? Anybody know?
Just I don't know. I maybe group the measures, just like to just group. For me, probably just grouping measures still.
And then do you usually just keep the dynamic the same or do you
Uh,
try to
uh, yeah.
sort
Oh
of
no,
change?
like when I say keep the dynamic same, like sometimes, yeah, sometimes like when I group them, sometimes keep the dynamics the same.
Okay. So something that you could do to do more of right, because we're talking about a phrase and then phrasing, right? So that's changing the dynamics within the phrase and making it have those peaks and valleys, right? So louder, softer. So for example, a good like rule of thumb, I'd say, whenever you have your phrase, right? So I'll go to the ones that we have boxed in or like in the parentheses right now. A good rule of thumb is doing a crescendo to diminuendo, right? You've probably seen this sort of thing where you do the crescendo and then the diminuendo to taper off that phrase and then start the next one, right? Does that kind of sound familiar to you guys? Yeah. Okay. So I want to do this with each of you in your pieces. So Adav, this is your piece. So I want you to try, what I want you to try is giving the first phrase, right? Let's maybe just go through the first 8 measures and try to give your melody in the right hand that dynamic of getting a little bit louder and then a little bit softer with each phrase. So let's try that.
Wait, but like when I press my piano like really soft like this, it just keeps the volume that's on the master volume.
Oh, so it's not letting you go softer or louder?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's I'll try to help you in our next class with that then, okay? But this is what the idea of your phrasing would be for your piece, okay? So we'll just go to Vivek then. So let's look at yours. So balance, right? We talked about balance and phrasing. So keeping the left hand softer and then right hand louder, but also doing a little bit of phrasing. Can we look at that same part that we were working on yesterday from measure 9?
Sure.
Okay, so sort of like you can actually see it's kind of written in for your left hand here. All right, go ahead and give it a try.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's good right there. Awesome. Okay, definitely can hear, especially that left hand. It's definitely sounding like you're getting the phrasing down there. So very, very good. All right, let's go to we'll go to Arohi. Let me just paste this real quick here. And for you, Arohi, maybe we can do the first line for you guys because you have the same piece. I'm just gonna do a real quick picture of that and then we'll go to yours. Yeah, let's try here. So just follow the slurs, right? Yes, exactly. Very nice. Okay. We'll end with a little diminuendo there. And then Brenton, we'll just do the same thing with you since same piece. So go ahead and try adding those dynamics and the phrasing. So on this one, I feel like the left hand was still a little heavy, right? So like we were talking about the balance. Can you try to do it one more time with your left hand softer?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was better. So the main thing, right, with what we can work on in our classes then, we'll just keep that right hand a little bit louder, not too loud, right? It is mezzo forte, so I think your volume was appropriate, but keeping that left hand just under the melody so it's not poking out and taking away from it. And then again, getting those crescendos in and the diminuendos, it will just make the song feel a lot more emotive and sort of like flowy, if that makes sense. So hopefully that helps you guys a little bit just in terms of the balance and phrasing like we talked about. And then before we go, just wanted to ask if anyone has any questions on any of the concepts we touched on. All good? All right. I'll be quizzing all of you on this in your next class. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
No problem.